Whether you're a new yoga teacher or an experienced yoga teacher, there's always going to be doubts and questions that arise. There's a lot of things that aren't discussed in our typical yoga teacher training. And so this video, I'm going to share the 5 different things that I wished I knew when I first started teaching. I'm Bree Johnson, and I've been teaching yoga since 2003. So I have learned a lot over the years. I've made mistakes, and I've really had to learn the hard way. So I'm making this video for you so that you can make some shortcuts, whether you're a new teacher or an experienced teacher. These are the 5 different things that aren't talked a lot about in the yoga teacher community, and especially not in our yoga teacher trainings. Number 1, mistakes are going to happen, and it's how you become a better teacher. I think a lot of times, and especially in the world that we live in, mistakes are seen as something bad, that we did something wrong. And it's a real disservice to have that mindset, because it's the mistakes are what show us where we need to grow. Our quote mistake are opportunities for more evolution and growth and inquiry about ourselves as teachers and how we're teaching, what we're teaching, who we're teaching. So if we can embrace right off the bat, if you're a new teacher and you're about to start to teach your first class and you feel nervous and worried because you don't want to make a mistake, I invite you to let that go. Or if you're a more experienced teacher and you make some sort of mistake in the class and you're like, what? I've been teaching for 10 years. I can't believe I'm still messing up my left and rights, for example. That's normal and that's okay. I've been teaching for almost 20 years and I can still mess up right and left, or I may forget one side of a pose, and like really simple, normal things. Because here's the secret, my friends, about mistakes. Mistakes also help you become a more relatable and real teacher, especially how you handle the mistakes. So if you mess up your left and rights in a class, or if you miss a side, or whatever your quote mistake is, but if you can handle that in the class with a lighthearted confidence, where you can go, whoops, forgot about that side, that's all right, let's do it all over again. People will feel more relaxed in your classes because they're not seeing you in some sort of ideal. They get to see you as a very natural human being who's making mistakes and isn't perfect. And that is a powerful part of your teaching. When you can show up in your humanity, when you can show up as a real, still professional of course, but as a real person who makes the odd mistake, that is absolutely beautiful, because like I said, it creates a sense of freedom and permission for the people in your classes to make a quote mistake about a pose or fall out of a balance, because it just eases the playing field, if that makes sense for us all. I view, for me as a teacher, and especially when I teach in my teacher trainings, we really from the get-go say there are no mistakes, only opportunity for growth and learning. So embrace your mistakes, embrace messing up, embrace teaching a class that you think isn't the best class ever, because that's where you'll learn. As long as you choose to continue to assess your teaching, continue to kind of look back and go, well, okay, yeah, I messed up on that little bit, but that's okay, because the next time I'll do it a little bit different. And walk away and not obsess about it or worry or doubt. That is a powerful practice. So please, my friends, there are no mistakes. Number 2 is there's no such thing as a perfect class. And so this ties right into that sense of there's no mistakes, because there's no such thing as the perfect class. And I have a feeling that all of us watching this here will go, yeah, of course, intellectually we get that. There's no such thing as the perfect class. But then you might go and sit down and compose your sequence for your next class. And you might spend a lot of time on writing out that sequence, trying to create it. And I think then that's when we start to, perfectionism starts to come in, and we can go and really work really hard on getting it just right, when guess what? You're never going to get it just right. Because the sense of a perfect class is a fallacy, and it does a disservice to us, because it puts a sense of pressure on us as teachers. It puts a sense of pressure on us to perform, to always have to show up in a sense of, in an unrealistic, unattainable way that really we're human. Life is going to happen. Mistakes are going to happen. And here's the other thing too, there's no such thing as the perfect class. That gives you freedom then to push your own boundaries a little bit, to go, well, what if I tweaked this pose a little bit? What if I changed this cue a little bit? It gives you more freedom as a teacher because you're not trying to fit into some unconscious perfectionist box, right, of some ideal that doesn't even exist. You get to create your own ideals. By not having the most perfect class ever, that gives so much more ease, and that gives so much more ease in the energy that you hold, the space that you hold in your classes, so that when the people arrive to your class, they're going to feel that ease. They're not going to try to achieve some ideal of a pose or ideal of what a yoga practitioner should look like. The most ideal of what a yoga practitioner or a teacher or a class should look like is the one that we are, right? So let that go. There's no such thing as a perfect class. Number 3, not everybody is going to like your classes. Let's repeat that together. Not everybody is going to like your classes. And that is absolutely okay. It is the way it should be. If we try to be everything to everyone, we're going to set ourselves up for disappointment. What's so amazing and beautiful about the world is that there's going to be people that we resonate with. And there's going to be people that we don't resonate with. But that doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that you're a bad teacher. It means that you have a little bit more space and a little bit more freedom to not have to change yourself in order to please everybody. It gives you an opportunity to trust yourself as a teacher more, because who you are is exactly who you need to be. And who you are will attract the people who want to be in your classes. In my experience as a teacher, people come to classes in about 3 different ways. You teach a class, let's say there's 20 people in that class. Part of the class is going to love it. They're going to love you, they're going to love how you teach, they're going to be loving how you show up, and they'll keep coming. The other part of the class, they're there because it's the time that works for them. They like you, you're fine, you're not the best teacher for them ever, but they like it and the timing works. So they're going to be there. They're kind of like the middle ground. And then there's going to be people who might not like how you teach. It might not be a fit. And you don't need to worry about those people because they're always going to be there. And again, let me put this into your brain, put this into your heart, and trust. Not everybody is going to like my classes, and that is okay. It doesn't reflect on me as a teacher. Okay? That is a big one. If we could have learned that, if right out the gate as yoga teachers, right out of our teacher training, oh, you are set up for success. I know I struggled with that for a long time, and I know other people and teachers that I work with, this is a big one that shows up for them. We want to please everybody. We fall into the trap of thinking that, oh, people like my classes, therefore they like me. It's a reflection of me. No. Eventually, as a teacher, you become confident and clear enough that you can walk in, you can teach your class, and you can let go of the desire to please everyone. You can let go of the need to be loved by all, right? And then you can trust that those who will enjoy you will love you and appreciate you, and you don't have to change who you are in order to achieve that. Number 4, you cannot control how people will enjoy your classes. As a yoga teacher, it's not your job to control how people receive your classes or what they get out of it. That's on them. Your job as a yoga teacher is to offer options. I like to think of it sometimes as a buffet. You offer a buffet of cues, a variety of cues. You offer a buffet or a variety of feelings, experiences, the overall feeling in the class, but it's not your job to direct exactly how somebody is going to receive that cue. Teaching yoga is a two-way street. And we have a responsibility to show up professionally. We have a responsibility to show up with knowledge and some experience, right? Take adequate training, know your stuff, do all of the things that are required of you to teach a good class. But that's beyond that, that's on the students in the class. The other two-way street here, the students are supposed to come to the class, take the teachings, take what you have to offer in whatever way that works for them. And this is a powerful realization when we can get to the point where we can trust the yoga, trust the teachings of yoga, trust the practice of yoga, meaning that you're offering yoga, you're offering awareness, you're offering experience for people. And that gets to be translated however it works for them. Because have we had those experiences as teachers where, I know for me, there's been times where I've had people in my classes for years, and I might be saying the same type of cue for over and over in every single class. And this is from one story that I'm thinking of specifically, where one person had been in my class for years, and then, I said the same cue maybe in a slightly different way, and then all of a sudden they said, "Oh, that's what you mean." But I had to say it to them for countless times in order for it to finally land. Was it my responsibility for them to understand that the first time? No, because everybody learns in their own way. Learning isn't linear. We don't know what's coming in. We don't know the background, the stories, the experiences of the people in our classes. So how is it our responsibility then to give them exactly what we think they need? The beauty of yoga, this deeper practice of yoga, not just the yoga poses, this deeper practice of awareness, means that we get to learn as we need to learn, both as students and as teachers. So again, as a teacher, you offer opportunities for people to learn, to be, to breathe, to show up, however they are. I'm repeating this one more time. Show up as a teacher, trust yourself, trust the practice, trust that it's going to land however it needs to land, and that's not something that you need to have responsibility or control over. And the last one, number 5, is you're never going to learn and know everything. And I don't mean that negatively. None of these things are negative. In fact, they're quite freeing when we really look at these points. It's impossible to know everything. It's impossible to know everything about ourselves, let alone a deep, ancient tradition of yoga that's been around for so long, that this living tradition that keeps evolving and growing. As teachers, we have the honor and the privilege to share this amazing living tradition. So you'll never know it all, because it's not about knowing. Yoga is about experiencing. Yoga is about awareness. Yoga is about this constant inquiry and exploration about who we are. And so as a yoga teacher, keep learning, keep growing, keep asking questions, keep taking trainings that excite you, take a workshop, but know that at the end of that training or at the end of that workshop, you're going to know a little bit more, or you're going to refine your knowledge a little bit more. What you already knew will be refined and polished so that you can understand it in a different way. But as the years go by and the more comfortable and confident that you get the more confident and comfortable you get as a teacher, there will still be things to learn. Again, I've been teaching for 19 years now, and I am still learning. And I hope that I am still learning when I'm 85 and maybe still teaching, right? Because yoga is a practice, again, of awareness, of inquiry, of consistent movement, not just the physical, but the movement of ourselves, the shifting of and the movement of our own self-awareness. So then when we can be that, both as practitioners, because as yoga teachers, we're also still yoga students. So in our own studentship, in our own process and practice, if we're okay with staying open and curious and not having all the answers, that is going to show up in our teaching. Because again, like all of these other points that I shared with us, when we can show up as ourselves, curious and open, confident to say, I don't know. When we can say, I don't know, or let me learn more, that gives the people in our classes that exact same permission. They get to show up in their own personal practice and go, you know what, I don't know everything, and that's okay. Because not knowing everything moves me into curiosity. Curiosity means that I'm open to possibility. I'm open to more growth and more learning. And I'll add one more little piece on that, because There's sometimes what I've seen in my experience working with yoga teachers around the world for years and years is that there's also this default towards imposter syndrome and not knowing enough, right? Thinking that you don't know enough. So I want to highlight this for a moment, because as much as I'm saying you'll never know everything, please don't fall into the trap of going, well, yeah, she's right. I'll never know everything. That's it. I'm an imposter. What am I even doing? Why am I teaching? Yes, you will never know everything, but there are things that you do know. There's things that you are good at. There's things that you, in this process of unknowing or not knowing, and creativity and inquiry, means that you are continuously learning. You are continuously refining how you're teaching. And then within that, you have stuff to offer. Within that, you can teach even if you don't necessarily think you're 100% ready, because you'll never be 100% ready. Here we are, remember? There's no such thing as the perfect class. Not everybody's going to like you. All these things that sound kind of scary, but when we put them into our heart and we recognize, well, that's beautiful, because then that gives me more freedom, more ease to continue to evolve and grow, to step into my own confidence and power, because here I am, this beautifully imperfect, this beautifully open-hearted, passionate person who simply, because remember this, my friends, as teachers, we're not just teaching ourselves. I think the majority of people who start teaching yoga because we want to help others. So we help others by showing up as ourselves, giving them the permission to show up as themselves. So I hope that these give you some really good food for thoughts. I hope that they actually help give you disrupt something in your brain around your preconceived notions of what good yoga teaching is, or how you should be as a teacher. And instead it disrupts it to the point where you go, wait, right. Who I am is enough. I'm always going to learn. I'm not an imposter. I've got stuff to offer. It's okay if somebody doesn't like my class. That's not a personal attack. And even if it was, worst case scenario, if somebody really somehow didn't like you, that's not your issue. You're here to help. You're here to serve. You're here to share and honor this important, powerful tradition of yoga. You started teaching because it did something to you. Yoga helped you, and you wanted to help others in the same way. Remember that, my friends.